of the Budget, Facilities and Safety Subcommittee to order at 1:02 p.m. Okay. So we are going to talk about how we are going to present what needs to be presented at town meeting today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the town has prepared an amendment. Let's all take a minute and read it. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
Why is all this?
That's I don't know.
This isn't it.
I wondered that too. I was going to ask you about where that came from. That feels
I
like
would
it
stop
belongs to
it here.
something else.
No.
Yeah.
We can't. Then maybe that's why Mike wants someone other.
No, I think this then goes to them. I think this
Yeah.
is ours, and then they jump in.
This
isn't our place to say how this is going to happen.
You're right.
This
You're
is the
right.
Yeah, I
town.
wondered where that came from.
Yeah.
This
so
shouldn't. I think you're right. This shouldn't
Yeah.
be here.
Right.
Yep.
I think she just did a copy and paste.
Yeah.
and just,
Totally right.
So ignore the bottom part.
I think
Yep.
so.
So I think the end
Yeah,
of the
this would be the
day.
21,955,800. Yep.
21,955,955. You're because it's at 685. So if we take the 21 million, right?
Minus.
No, the 21 that's in the budget. It's 21,685,033 plus the 270,
It's
767.
a difference of 270,767. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 21,955,800 even.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the fact that we have to make this amendment makes me wonder if this is what should have just been printed in the warrant to begin with, because
It
as
is
we
what's
said-
in the warrant.
It's not though. It's look at
It's
our
right here.
article. No, but look at Article 28. This is what we're making the amendment to Article 28.
Oh, not to.
And Article 28,
Yeah, it's Article
has
28.
the lower number
Is-
in it, and the number the
It has
town
the
is voting on.
21,685.
Yes, and I said that to Seth. I said that yesterday.
Well, that's because that's their number.
Yes, it should be our number in Article 28.
No, because they don't agree with our number. That's
But
their
we're
number.
voting on, the town isn't voting on FinCom's budget, the town is voting on the school committee budget.
What? No, the town's voting on the finance committee recommendation.
No, I thought the town is voting on the school committee
The
budget.
school committee budget.
I think
I thought it's all one.
when they're different, the town isn't voting on the FinCom budget. The town is voting whether or not to accept or decline the school committee budget. FinCom can approve that budget or not. FinCom, it should have said this article.
That's
and
the
then
case, you're
Finance
right.
committee comment.
What does Berlin have?
Finance committee does not approve school committee budget. That's what that, I think, article should have said. And Nancy, that's why April
Yeah.
prepared this amendment and sent it to
Yes.
us. Because I think
So
it
do they make their proposal first and then they make their statement and then somebody gets up and then amends it?
I think
on the floor of that?
the Board of Selectmen will read Article 28.
Yep.
And then, I
And then
agree,
we-
I think a school committee rep
and then
needs to
it's-
stand
right.
up and say, I
Okay.
move to amend the motion of the Finance Committee under Article 28 to increase the amount of the appropriation by 270,767 to pay for the school committee recommended FY24 budget, in lieu of the Finance Committee recommended FY24 budget. So this is saying we're amending it.
I think.
To the school
what
committee
happens
budget.
is that someone will read it, and then the finance committee will always speak next.
Right,
Say
which
they
is
recommend
why-
or don't.
Exactly.
So they go, and then they will.
And they say they don't recommend. They'll say they don't
will
recommend.
say yes.
But they do
Finance
recommend this
committee.
number in here.
So I think that's what they're.
No,
would-
they don't.
They recommend the number that's printed in the warrant, the 21,685.
Right. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's their
number. But I
Right.
think what should be printed, what we're voting on.
Yeah, the
should
21,685 is not our number, that's their number.
FinCom
be- Yes,
number. Yep.
which
Yeah,
is
I
what's
have
printed in the warrant in Article 28.
And you think it should have been ours?
That's why I think she's having us make this amendment. Why else would she type this up for us?
Okay, let's see what Berlin's doing. I'm just curious,
Well,
because
Berlin's
I
not
always
We don't
thought
need
it.
to.
Because she wants to make sure that we have to go to, I'm thinking, they want to make sure we make the next step, because otherwise it would be
Yeah.
approved as is to our favor.
Or there would be
No,
just, there
as
would be-
is their favor. It's written incorrectly, I think.
I
Right,
thought
but
it's
there would-
our
I
favor.
don't.
Here, look at, do you have the Boylston warrant?
Yeah,
Yeah, she has it right
Okay,
there.
look at Article 28. Are you
Yep,
reading it?
yep.
So that number, the 21,685,033, that number includes Finance Committee's budget. It does not include the extra $270,000. So
Right.
if read like that, then the town would be voting yes or no on FinCom's budget. They would not be voting on the school committee budget at all.
I get you now.
Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
So
thought
that's
it-
why April is saying, oops,
Yeah,
we're voting on school committee budget. The number needs to be this $21,955,800.
I get what you're saying.
That's why she
I
made
never-
that, because that, I
that
think
makes
that was
sense.
I think that was a mistake. And that's why they prepared this amendment for us to say, because why else would they do that?
is that what she wrote in that email
Yes.
for one of us to say?
I believe
She did, oh yeah, I
She
called
did say-
her.
Okay.
I spoke to her, and that's for us to say.
right. But
And I
why
guess
else
that makes
would-
more sense, right?
Yes, which is what I
always thought it went the opposite way.
But
But
why
okay.
why would the school committee get up and say that? Why wouldn't they
Because
own?
well,
They're-
I think originally FinCom was gonna say that, but
Be-
I think
right.
April probably said that's a bad look for us.
Oh well.
April called their lawyer.
Ah.
Yes,
Okay.
April
That's
called
probably-
legal, and the legal's
Yeah.
the one.
Because we're voting, which this is what we have heard from our council, is that the budget voted on is the school committee budget.
Well, I get that, but I think if the town posted this incorrectly,
Yeah.
they should rectify
Oh, I agree.
the situation on town floor. Because if school committee gets up and says, "Oh, we're just going to add another 270,000," when there's already much discussion about
Which
the
is
school
probably why
budget.
Mike doesn't want a school committee rep to say this amendment. So maybe we,
I think
I'm just wondering why town legal would advise that. I don't know the legalities of it, but I feel like, right? Wouldn't it make sense that they ought to correct it?
Yes, but what
But
if
they
they
can't because it's
don't?
our.
And then what if they don't?
if they don't, then
Then it's gonna go under.
we
It's gonna
fail.
go
It fails.
down.
It doesn't matter if they correct it or not. That would be what was voted on, and
This is the assurance that it's going.
this is the assurance that it's,
I
yeah.
see, okay.
I'm thinking, right?
Exactly.
But this amendment may not pass.
The amendment
This
might not
amendment has
pass,
to
is exactly
And
right.
they may say, no, they're gonna go with this number in here.
That's why I think.
Exactly.
I think so.
I think you're right, Carol.
yeah.
Okay, so that's all right.
That
Okay.
I understand.
All right, I understand.
So yeah, the question is, and maybe we can think about this a little more, is who is going to read this statement? Who's the right person now that we kind of understand? And the second question, and maybe Nancy, I don't know if you want to ask April, I would just verify that they are going to say this last
Yeah,
part and
yeah.
it was copied and pasted, because
Yeah.
this doesn't have anything to do with our budget besides the sum of the 1.28 million shall be
Yeah,
transferred
that's fair.
from free cash to capital school improvements at Boylston Elementary School.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm wondering if we have to stick to this language or we can add some of our own language.
No. I say stick to it because the lawyer did it.
A lawyer did it, but it was their counsel. I guess my
can
question
write
is,
your
should we
own
consult
language
with
to
our
amendment.
counsel?
You can write your own language to an amendment. I would include, but you want to expand.
I want to clarify
Clarify.
that this was in some way that this was not a reflection of what we had come in with for the school committee. In other words,
Right, because it says to pay
Wait,
for
what do you
school
mean?
committee recommended FY24 budget, like it's a new thing.
yes.
This isn't a
That's-
new thing. This was the voted on school committee budget that should have been in the article
Even
to
if it
begin
says
with.
to reflect what was originally the original amount that
Oh,
Yes.
that's good. I
Do you
would
know what
add
I'm
that.
saying?
Yes,
Yep.
that's why I kind of, maybe
Yeah,
I
that's
should just read this
to
'cause now.
reflect.
All right,
That's
to
the-
increase the amount of the appropriation by 277.67 to pay for the original.
No, recommend for budget to reflect the original.
Right.
to
Yes.
That's
reflect
better language.
the
Yep.
original school committee recommended.
Recommended budget.
To reflect the
Recommended.
original.
I requested our legal counsel to draft a motion to amend the motion, made by the finance committee,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
just to make sure that we are following proper procedure on town meeting floor.
Exactly, because this is wrong.
Yeah. But
Which
it's,
is what we talked about on Wednesday.
but the onus is now becoming on us.
Exactly.
Yep, I would just change
So
the
we are
language.
being asked to that
Or
read a
we
statement that,
consult with our council to make sure that,
well,
I
would-
agree, I think you're right, Julie, you can say
Yeah,
whatever.
and
yeah.
anyone at town floor can write on a piece of paper and just
Yeah.
hand it.
our attempt here is not to have to do that.
Of
because
course, be
in the-
prepared.
In the moment,
Oh.
it's a scramble, and
It is
we've
a
done it. I've seen
scramble.
it happen, and it's.
So Carol, how do you think
stressful.
is the best way to write it?
By to
you're
reflect
a
the
writer.
original school
Carol's a
committee
writer, just
recommended.
let her do it.
See, and again, to reflect the original school committee recommended, no, the school committee period
She might have
FY
appropriation
'24
rules.
budget, it's not recommended,
To
it's
pay-
the budget we
to-
voted on.
To reflect. You're saying to reflect,
Because
not
we're
pay.
getting, and in all due respect, we're getting legal counsel from the town's from the town side of the legal counsel. I would believe
Yeah,
we don't have
I'm
to
typing
follow
her
the
in.
town.
Should I just ask her, why aren't you reading this? It's error on your warrant.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that would create more hostility that already.
It doesn't matter because we're going to read it anyways if they don't.
I
It's gonna,
would
it's gonna
just
get read.
curious.
At this
But now I
point, would
understand Mike's
prefer if
strategy, Julie.
We read it.
I would
Okay.
prefer that we read this and ensure that it's going forward the way we want
Yep,
this to
yep.
be reflected.
True, because they could write.
They'll just read it like this. They're not going
they
to add
could
our
read
words
some-
in.
We don't know what they're going to read, but we have to be able to ensure that our message gets out. Do you know what I mean, Nancy? You feel. If you say,
It's very tricky.
I'm feeling.
Like this is a
unsure,
setup?
uncertain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I understand it differently,
Well, this is what I was trying to say when we spoke previously, is I was very confused.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand or follow, but then this.
I'm just gonna say, I am feeling if it's coming, it will come out like we're trying to change something from what was
Yeah.
initially voted.
That's why language is key.
Yeah.
So if it's
So I want to be careful how
Or-
this
Right.
is said.
So
You're
this
right.
You
is
know
what
I'm saying?
yeah, that's what we're trying
Yeah.
to do.
So what my
yeah.
understanding is, and Julie, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is why I think when I had spoke with somebody that's versed on town meetings, and he recommended whoever wants to speak next should read this language and then maybe explain. We're
well, the
making this
moderator will
amendment.
say, "Do you want to?"
Yes,
expand
we are
or
making
whatever.
this amendment because
Yeah.
we believe it was printed incorrectly in the warrant, and the school committee voted on this budget on April 4th, or on March 17th, March 18th.
That's why it should be a
And this
school
is the
committee matter.
budget that was put forward by the committee, and our understanding is that the budget put forward by the school committee is the budget that should have been printed in the warrant for the town to vote on.
That's it.
Yep. Much
However,
better. Yep.
do you want to type that? You want me to?
I
You
don't
can-
know, I
you
just
can-
kind of like.
We can
You
write
did
that. We
very
can write
well.
that explanation after, and you could even ask
Yep.
on the town floor, whoever does do that speaking, if you could, if the citizens could get some clarification on why this number is on the warrant printed this way.
Right.
If anyone on this
And I
finance
mean,
committee
before
could
we
speak to
say
that.
this, I would, to Nancy's point, maybe, reach out to April or, and just say, so I just want to understand where we are planning to make this amendment, but I just want to understand, is this due to error on part of what was printed in the warrant? Because if they're like, no, this is what we usually do, then we don't want to make it sound like, hey, you guys made a mistake and we're calling you out. We just want everyone to be clear on the situation.
Right.
My understanding, and I've said this, like I said this yesterday to a few people I've talked to, I'm not an expert on this, but my understanding was that the town votes on the school committee budget. That was the one thing I was crystal clear on based on conversations with council and conversations that we've had at school committee meetings, is that the school committee votes on the school, or the town is voting on the school committee budget. It doesn't matter what the FinCom puts in their budget. FinCom can approve or not approve the school committee budget.
Right.
But
Right.
the town is not voting on FinCom budget. The town is voting on school committee budget. That's what's supposed to be printed in the warrant.
Yeah.
Right, and try to come to an understanding.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Okay, why don't we work on the language of this first, so it reads how you want it to read.
yeah, and then we have to figure
And
out
then
who's
we
going to
can-
say it.
Yeah,
and
we'll
if
find.
there's
Well, I
anything
think
else
Jess,
we want to
I think
add.
if I think we should be a school committee member.
Maybe the three of
Um,
us go up together, the three Boylston members, and we have one member read off, and then we have maybe another member say, we want to explain in layman's terms what this amendment is, so
Yeah.
everybody fully understands.
Yeah.
And then we do our explanation, and then maybe another member says, you know, we're happy to discuss further if anybody has any questions, but this was the budget the school committee put forward.
That would be a nice unified gesture. I'm trying to think of how they allow you to go up there. Like,
I
you
don't
can
know.
line up and go up one at a time.
You
I
can
mean,
go. We've done that when we did. I know when we passed CPA, they had the whole baseball board standing up there.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
And
But that was, thinking of that, I think it's the only time. But Barry would have shut that right down if that wasn't allowed.
Yeah, so absolutely.
So I
yeah.
think it is.
Did you have one spokesperson?
No, there were several people that spoke from the board.
Okay.
Well, this budget isn't one person's budget. This is a school committee budget.
Right. But there's just so many fine rules.
I know, and that's what I mean. I'm not an expert, so I don't know the best way, but
They'll guide you, the moderator.
Who is the moderator going to be?
I don't know.
I wonder who. Well, it's always usually the same person.
I think that
I
person
don't know.
recused herself.
Yeah, but she should know who usually it's the same backup, right?
Yes, but I wonder who
Yeah, I
it
think
is.
it's this simple. This article
We'll find out this weekend.
had an error, should have had the amount of blank, which is the school committee budget. So therefore.
For the explanation.
Yeah, just, because I think that's
You say
only
that
fair.
before you make the amendment, you mean? Yeah.
I think that's only fair.
Or I believe this article
But we need to
is an
confirm
error.
that's correct.
Yeah, that it was an
Right,
error.
we should confirm that, but
Mhm.
I think it is after thinking
I-
this
I
over.
I
would
think you
have
should go.
backup evidence too, that with the minutes of the March 18th meeting,
Yeah,
so that you can refer to that, and that
That's
was
March
voted,
18th,
the vote
and,
was taken.
we
So that
had
if
an
anybody
email.
disputes that, you'd say it's right here in our minutes, dated March 18th.
yeah.
We
can read
also
that.
reached out to the MASC. I have that email. Hold on, I can print that. Where is it?
Any kind of supporting documents that you have,
Yeah.
because it could be like a, they
Mhm.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the MASC rep.
And
used
maybe
the
none of this will come to pass, but you just
Right.
we would wanna have everything there.
Right. I have to find that. But we did reach out to MASC to get guidance. And the person that we spoke with from MASC also confirmed. Our rep is Dorothy Presser, and she confirmed that her understanding was that the budget printed in the warrant was supposed to be the school committee budget. I'll find the email, print it out.
And print it and put it, just make sure that goes
Yeah.
in everybody's folders. and
Yeah, I
have
mean,
that.
she's the expert. That's our
Yep.
that's our person that we consult with. Okay. All right. So we just need to figure out.
This is what gets the actual.
I'm still wondering why the rest of this isn't
I
here.
sent her an email just to
Yeah, that
confirm.
shouldn't
I
be
don't
there.
think that's supposed to be there.
don't
I think
think
she
it's
just
on.
copied and pasted it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So what about for the initial top language? What about this? I move to amend the motion of the Finance Committee under Article blah to increase the amount of the appropriation by $270,767 to reflect the original school committee recommended FY 22.
I wouldn't say recommended.
No, we took out recommended.
Okay, to school committee FY
Voted on March
Uh,
18th,
for the original school
2023.
committee.
Voted,
Well,
voted.
what, the
Approved.
recommended, just so matches
Yeah,
the warrant. So that's where that's coming
the
from.
recommended.
They
Because it
used
says
that
school committee
language.
recommended FY 24 budget.
Yes,
That's
I
why it
think
says
is recommended
recommended.
at this point.
Oh yeah, it's not
Yeah,
approved.
yeah.
You're right, Julie.
Right, okay, so recommended, FY 2024 budget, in lieu of, we're gonna say the printed Finance Committee recommended FY 2024 budget such that.
That appears in the warrant?
They both
Printed
appear.
Finance
Or that-
Committee, okay,
That appears in the warrant?
That appears in
That's right.
Article 28, I
It
think.
Of the-
appears.
Right.
it'll say that because I moved to amend the motion under Article 28.
Article
Oh,
28.
okay.
This language is going to be very confusing.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to say it, and that's why I think somebody reads it to make the
Such that
official
the-
amendment, and then
Such that the
clarification
amended
needs to
motion
be
reads
explained.
as follows. I think Jessica's gonna do great with this, because she does read well when she
Yes,
reads
she's,
something.
yes.
Such that the amended motion reads as follows. This is the part that's tricky. So what do you think of that? Should I read that again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I write it down and then we'll read it?
Sure.
Okay.
No, say it out loud so I can type it.
Okay, yeah, type it. Ready? I move to amend the
Hold on.
motion
Yeah.
of the Finance Committee under Article 28
Mhm.
to increase the amount of the appropriation by 270,767 to reflect
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
By.
by 270,767
767, yep.
to reflect the original. Maybe I shouldn't say original. No, let's just say the school. Let's just.
The intended
Intended.
school committee recommendation.
Yeah, intended's good. Intended
Recommended.
school committee FY 2024 budget, comma, in lieu of the,
Are we saying and voted on the when the school committee voted on it?
I think that will be understood because it's on, it wouldn't be able to be there.
I mean, but people don't know that, do they?
I would hope.
They don't. I think
Okay,
in general
okay.
they will know it. When it's voted, like that it was actually voted on.
That this is the budget the school committee's had all along. It was voted on. That's the point we want to make.
Okay, to reflect the,
To increase the amount of the appropriations. Yeah, because we're
how
using
about
that
to
language
reflect
to
the
increase
approved
the.
school committee
To reflect
I would say just to reflect the voted or the approved
the. Oh,
or the school committee approved, because I mean the school committee approved it.
well, you could say though, the intended school committee recommended FY20 as approved, as approved. March 18th.
Oh,
It
yes.
was approved on
2025.
March 18th though by the school committee, as approved by the school
Yeah,
committee on March
intended.
18th.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on.
Are you
The
jotting it?
intended-
Okay.
Okay, hold on. This is to increase the amount of the appropriation by 270, whatever, to reflect the
intended.
to reflect the
I think we used the word.
approved,
No, I think we said.
Wait, let her say it.
All right, go ahead. Me or
to
Carol?
approve me. I just had it to reflect the FY 2024 budget voted upon and recommended to the town on March 18th, 2023. To reflect the intended FY 2024 budget voted upon by the school committee. I would say the Berlin-Boylston Regional School Committee.
Mhm.
I always like to keep
Okay.
saying that.
Mm-hmm.
On March 18th, 2023.
I got it if you didn't.
All right, hold on, say that again. Right, on March 18th. Okay. I move to amend the motion of the Finance Committee under Article 28 to increase the amount of the appropriation by $270,767 to reflect the intended fiscal year 24 budget voted upon by the Berlin-Boylston Regional School District School Committee on March 18th, 2023.
Well done.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that?
That's what you said? Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And then you have to say in lieu of the Finance Committee recommended.
recommended FY
Why does the
24.
language have to be so?
Well,
Well,
it's
that's-
so, that's what fascinates me about the attorneys. Like, that's what they have to understand. It's always
Yeah,
the interpretation
yeah.
of the law.
Yeah, right.
Right,
From
you know,
way
it's-
back English.
Yeah, but
That's
it,
old English
and
thing,
how you
right?
interpret it
Yeah.
changes the course of so many
Mm-hmm.
history.
In lieu of the finance committee recommended FY24 budget.
Yep. 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 Budget. Such that language is so funny. Such that. Nobody talks that way anymore. The amended motion reads as follows.
And then
So I wonder if any people will be comparing these then.
of course.
So this is it, right?
Absolutely.
So it's going from. See, it's funny because in there, maybe you have to write it with the words because you're writing, but in here it's a number, right?
This is. I'd rather have this written as a number.
I think they
Do you
did that
see
as a
these
favor.
numbers?
It's phonetically easier.
Here's another, for account number 5510, which
Yeah.
matches the elementary school.
Yeah.
And then 5641.
yeah.
That's 5651.
Where are you reading this, Nancy?
Hold on. Let me go back.
What page are you?
She's on the warrant.
So account number, see down here on this, it's typed in account number 5510, which when you go back to the budget page here, it's 5510.
Yep.
And then it
that's
says
elementary.
account number 5641.
I don't see where you're showing the account number. Oh, right here.
Right
Sorry.
here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
sorry, I paused.
here-
Should be
Where's the
5651.
Right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
typo.
that's a typo. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. Good catch, Nance.
Yeah, because 5641
Yep.
is not.
So that's 51.
5641 might be the capital assessment, right? I don't know.
I
how
don't
the
know what
accounts
it
go.
is, but it's not what it should be. 5641.
What's 5510?
What is 5641? I wonder.
I know, so let me try
Right?
to find it. I wonder what is 5641. But it should be 5651.
Where would you find that, Nancy?
If you look at this, page 15, see the account numbers?
Yeah, I wanted to go back and
There
see if I could
and
find
there. Those top two are your account numbers. So I'm gonna find 56.
Right?
See what they were looking at.
That's what I was just thinking.
Alright.
It's been the way of this, right?
I don't know. I haven't done
I don't see it here.
Are you on page 15?
We're looking all over.
Go to page 15.
Yeah, we are, but
that. You found 41? Oh no, she means the 41.
Right,
Which
there
one?
is no 4
found
one.
it?
That's
Okay.
what it is.
right, but we.
I don't see the 4 one. I just started.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Let me go back one. I'd be curious to know.
I don't see a 5641. I think it doesn't exist.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just really a typo.
Typo, yeah.
Which would have been another problem.
Yep.
Nice
There.
job. Yep.
Mhm.
You got a keen eye for numbers.
Sometimes.
That's good. All right. So I wonder if you can move. Or maybe you have to have the words. You know what I would do? I would put the number and I put the words in parentheses as written in the warrant.
Yeah, I like that better too.
Yeah, because who the heck knows what that says? And plus, you have the number up above. No consistency there. You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, you're doing the number. Sorry, I was trying to.
Yeah.
count
No, no,
them.
no. That's okay.
So you want to just write the number?
But leave the words, but in parentheses, because on the warrant, the number's there, the actual number, and then in parentheses, I think it's the word.
Should I let April know that it's 5651?
Yes.
I think that's a nice thing to do,
Yeah.
and that's how we are.
Are you saving all these things to tell her, or are you?
Kind of doing it. Should I wait at this point? We'll wait.
They're not working today. They're closed today, right?
I spoke to her though. She answered at the office.
Why are they closed today?
They
They usually don't
open on
work Monday.
Fridays.
Or they leave early.
Oh, they leave
at-
at, like,
That's
2?
what it is. Yeah.
Oh, like town
Or-
hall is not open on Fridays in our town.
Oh yeah, they are.
Okay.
$21,955,800.
Yep.
0 cents.
Comma.
Which
Which sum? Includes an appropriation for the, and Carol wants you to write Berlin Boylston Regional School budget.
Berlin Boylston Regional School budget.
In the amounts listed under the column. And it's in big capital letters.
Yeah.
School committee recommended FY 2024 budget.
I think that's what it should have been.
Guys, it's almost over. Aren't you excited?
Yep.
I mean, over.
I know.
Wait to. I will be excited
I bet
when
you
this
will
meeting's
be.
over.
I
And
know.
everything happens
I know.
correctly.
I know.
I just want to be done.
I know, Nancy. You've done so much work.
It's okay. It's all gonna be good.
5651, right?
Correct.
Yep. 565.
As shown in the proposed budget
I know. I can't.
in the report of the.
Is that in the? Where is this from?
I don't know.
Where'd you get this?
I copied it.
Did you
What-
see what she has in it?
No.
What does she
Oh,
have?
this is something different.
Oh, it must be.
Wait, no, wait, no.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, what does
Board of
she have?
Selectmen.
Oh, it's a staff.
Oh,
handbook.
staff
Why is that
handbook.
on there?
What do you
Oh,
have?
I copied, no, sorry,
She
got
copied
mixed in
something
here.
else.
Oh, something else.
Something got mixed in.
Because I want to look at that, because that's
Yeah.
it's
So
another
many things.
project.
There's just so much.
Oh,
Isn't
there's so
there-
many things.
You
Hope
should
the
just.
summer will
I don't
be-
even know how you organize it all, quite honestly.
One piece at a time.
Yeah, but like, how do you?
Prioritize.
Yeah, and how do you? You know, I just have a notebook at my house, and I just and then I just check, and then it stays as a working notebook,
Mm-hmm.
so I can always reference that.
Yep.
I need
Yeah,
to
I
start
have
doing
that
that because I
too
just
now.
try to keep everything up there. and
I know, or you write it on like loose paper, and then it goes in the drawer, and you don't know. It's easier. Just anytime you're on a phone call, just take out the notebook, write it on there.
Yep.
So you do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was better.
All right, so it's
Okay, good.
21. All right, so I think we made good progress.
Yep.
21.
Yeah.
So we'll just read that.
955, 800.
Correct.
All right.
Jing.
Are you feeling okay with that, finance director?
I am. I like it.
Other person.
This is good. All right, I think Jessica's the perfect person.
This is gonna be great.
And then what you said, Megan, before about when we have an opportunity to clarify, it, basically if you write just what you just said before about what we're clarifying.
Oh, you,
Yeah,
you
then
think
you'll
say
need
that? All right.
Not in the amendment.
Not type that up.
No, but then
No.
you'll have a chance to explain the clarification.
I can, as a resident, take the floor and say, this is what I think this amendment is trying to clarify, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I would write it down because in the moment, even if you just take a paper and record
Yep.
it and have it in your hands.
Yep.
Because
Agree.
in the moment.
Oh my God. Have you ever spoken on town floor? Yeah.
And
It's-
yeah,
It is, and you just look out into a sea of
eyes.
eyes and people, and it's a lot of people.
Actually, yes, we did when we were building
did?
our house, but it was about our house, I think it was it town meeting?
No, probably you
Maybe a
spoke in front
planning
of-
board.
Planning
Maybe.
board. That's who you probably
Yeah.
spoke in front of.
It was in the auditorium.
Wow.
It was a town meeting. It was a town meeting.
Oh, good.
There
So,
was
okay.
some weird thing with the land.
Okay,
Our
so you're familiar
land
with
abuts
town.
town wells.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, anyways,
So then you're familiar with it, but it can be.
it was a long time ago.
But I feel like
barely
you
remember.
speak fine in public, so I think you'll be fine.
I'll definitely write something down.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the moderator will ask you,
Why me?
or whoever says it, whoever speaks to the.
And maybe then,
Reads
maybe
that.
should Jessica further clarify this if she's
But if
in-
you guys are going up there as a.
These are things I'd like to know beforehand. Like, are we able to do that?
I mean, you can find that online. The answer to
Yes.
that.
Also, it would
But
be
I-
nice to know who is the moderator.
Well, they'll
I-
follow all the rules.
And I don't know if that individual, did we just talk about this yesterday? Is that how I know that?
No. Oh, yes.
Recuse
Yeah.
themselves? Or what, is it around this vote? Or is
Yes.
it everything?
I imagine it's just the budget
Maybe it's just the,
I don't know.
because there's a conflict,
yeah, there
right?
is.
So there would. I think
There certainly is, yeah.
And if there's any, you need to speak to council.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's just for that. I can't imagine it's for anything else.
Right.
Because usually, right, that's happened before where, in
Oh,
Berlin,
yeah.
he's on historic various.
Yeah.
And so he'll recluse himself
He
for historic
does.
things and then pops back up.
Oh,
It's
okay. And
time
does
to
somebody
go.
else take over?
Uh-huh.
So
And
there
everyone
must
has
be
to
a
vote.
backup.
There's always a backup, yeah.
Does the moderator have to be an attorney?
No.
No.
Oh, so somebody else will just jump in and do it.
Yeah, but it's somebody that has done this before
Yeah.
because they're familiar with, especially on this. They have to be
I'll find
familiar
out.
with
We
Robert's
can
rules.
find out who it is. All right. So what else? Do we have anything else to?
No, I would just I would run this by Mike.
Definitely
He would
will.
expect that, and then, as long as he's comfortable with that,
Yep.
well, you can always substitute out a person, but if you can convince him of that.
Yeah, I think I agree with
Um,
you. So we'll talk about that,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about somebody making the clarification. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot said that's not scripted once questions start flying. And
I can't imagine any question coming up that we have not somewhere along the line answered
oh, I
already.
agree. I agree. The one question that somebody had mentioned that we may get is, okay, you want $270,000 added to the budget. What is that going to cost me? And after looking at the budget and the numbers, I think, Nancy, you can agree it's virtually impossible to figure out what this specific $270,000 is going to cost you, because you need to know the cost of your house. We need to know, how everything else is voted, how we're spending free cash, if we have any other grants coming in. It's not just
What's the tax increase for Boylston?
I have no idea, because there's like 28 things they're moving. If they buy, they want to buy land, there's a bunch of things that are in this. So they don't have a nice, it's
No.
about this percentage like
Right. It's not just about
Berlin,
us.
because there's things that it could get voted down and then it won't increase. You know what I that's my understanding. I can't speak as an expert on any of this, Julie. I just don't know.
I don't know the tax end of it, so.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
The-
I think after this, that's when the board of assessors or the assessor comes in and probably figures all this out. But I mean, like, all
They
this
must
stuff.
know if everything passes what the tax increase will be. They have to know.
Yeah, but some of
that,
this
right?
stuff-
Right, of course.
But they can't. How are they calculating? So most of the stuff where the finance committee recommends approval, they're like, probably that's the stuff. But there's a few things on here. For example, okay. About this land stuff, the numbers aren't even
No,
presented.
I don't get that.
It's to be made at town, planning board recommendation, to be made at town meeting. Some of these recommendations are like, we don't know ahead of time, so how can they, how could they say yes or no? FinCom, Article 25, will make recommendations at town meeting. Planning board Article 26, planning board will be making recommendations at town meeting. So we have no idea. What if they come up and say we don't support this? And people are like, okay, we're not gonna vote for it. And
Well, leads me to believe that can't be that has to be from a source, from free cash or somewhere.
no, it doesn't.
Because they couldn't, they have to balance their budget before they get in there to town meeting. I don't know, it's interesting, it's all
As long as it's
Such a
within levy
different-
capacity,
it's
do
such a
the-
different approach.
Well,
for
I think
towns.
exactly. I think it's just that two
Same
towns have two different approaches,
Yeah.
two different finance committees.
Yeah.
As long as it's within their levy capacity, why do they have to balance their budget? Why do they have to figure out what the assessment increase will be? As long as they know they're within their levy capacity, right? As we learned about the whole levy
Yeah,
capacity
but
thing.
people want to know what their tax increase is gonna be, right? Even if you're,
That's what I think people are going to be asking, and I
Right.
just don't think that
I don't think we can
question is
answer
going
that.
to be able to be answered by anybody at this point. Is
But
my-
definitely not us.
definitely not us.
no, maybe someone should ask that to your finance, somebody.
I was gonna
Finance
talk to the
people.
assessor, the board of assessor, but they can't take this and figure that out right now. That would have been something that would have needed to be figured out ahead of time, as the Berlin FinCom did.
That was Kristen. She was very good at that.
Okay, so we don't
She did
have,
very good.
we don't have that
Yeah, that's
position here.
interesting, okay. Well, that's all right, maybe they'll have it on town floor, someone will.
What are you looking for, Nancy?
Nothing really.
Oh, just
I'm
looking
just
at-
looking at what else I have going
Can
on.
you, Megan, if you can send that language, can we
I put it in the
redistribute these
minutes.
folders so that everybody gets gets one, like the what I was doing was I had the Boylston ones here and the Berlin, so everybody gets the same packet, even
Good
though,
idea.
even though you're not at the Boylston one,
Yeah.
you're getting the Berlin, you can look at the.
That's a good idea.
Just have everything ready for Monday, but we just need you to send that to us.
Yep, so I'm gonna
to
send
copy
these
Monday
minutes right
morning.
now.
I'll
Oh,
pin
your
it
notifications. That's too much.
I put it right in the minutes.
on here. Did it pop on just now?
Just so many.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I just-
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, you just gotta. tell
Luckily,
me.
the screen goes off.
Yeah, that's enough.
Adam was funny.
All right, so are we ready to, all right, so, I think what I was thinking, just under, so let's move on to comments, future agenda items for like a split second, and then I think we can adjourn. I think what I was thinking is, going back to the whole cell service at Tohoto, and I know we had, I think maybe we add that to an agenda, maybe down the road, May, June, whenever the budget stuff is
Yeah.
kind of settled, and, because I think that's under the purview of this committee.
Yeah.
And I think we've had some parents or community members reach out with some information that might be useful. Maybe we decide we invite them in, but that's something we can talk about, I think, once we get past this.
Yeah, I do too. We received,
sure.
well, the PTO over in Tohoto received funding. Do you know that for the site visit, for the cell phone
I
service?
think I
I think
heard.
I might have told you that yesterday.
Yes, yeah.
3,500 to cover the cost of
So
that.
that's the site visit to get an assessment on what the
What we
repeaters
need.
would,
Right,
what would we
right.
need to have
That's the
repeaters to
first
get
step.
cell service.
So that came and we'd have to approve that donation, right?
That should get on the
Once it
agenda.
comes to us,
No.
it has not come to us.
It has not come to us, it's at the PTO.
Correct.
So we have to wait until it comes to us.
That's what I
and then
mean,
we'll-
right.
From
So
the
it's probably
PTO.
not gonna be until June. That's right, we
Yeah.
discussed
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And then the other thing is the radio tower, so that we can talk about that at a future. I feel like that's something, so I'm gonna just put that on here.
We may have more information on that by the June meeting.
Yeah.
Why'd it go through the PTO?
I'm guessing because they wanted to claim it.
Tax write-off.
Because it has to be,
Yeah.
a not-for-profit. And some of these foundations that are if it's a foundation or if it's coming from a business, it has to go to a not-for-profit to be.
Right.
There's like tax laws, they can write it
Yeah.
off.
And both of these are that case.
I see.
Okay,
Have a Tootsie Roll.
all right, so I
Rolo.
move to adjourn.
Rolo.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.